All right, you're still under oath. Make sure that you keep your voice up so that members of the jury and the court reporter can hear. Defense?
5-year-old Mercedes Lozoya's mother was charged in the girl's death and took a plea deal in exchange for testimony against her boyfriend, Jose Ruiz.
When was the last time that you actually lived with Jose on help?
During the month of January in 2020, 21 and 22.
You don't know for sure?
No, I don't know for sure.
Were you living with him on January 13th,
Of what year?
2022?
I think so, yes.
Would you have sent him texts if you were living in the same house with him?
Yes.
Do you recall a text where you were complaining about you couldn't take much more of Mercedes? Do you remember writing a text like that?
Yes, probably.
You remember telling him that?
I'm going to object to reading from items not in evidence.
Sustained.
Did you ever tell him that you made Mercedes?
Again, Judge, same objection.
All right, let me hear the question.
Did you ever tell him that you made Mercedes in timeout hold her arms up for 2 days in a row?
No.
Did you ever tell him that you couldn't have her with you much longer because you were afraid of what you might do?
No.
What was your phone number?
I don't remember.
Could it have been 210-551-0891?
I'm going to object to reading.
Overruled.
I'm not sure.
Did you say at any time, if I'm either going to live with my stepfather or whatever, I'm sorry, whatever he was called, and your biological father? Do you remember ever saying that to him?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you remember ever saying to Jose that you were going to find a different place to live?
No.
That you were deciding between your godfather and your biological father?
I don't remember.
Did you ever tell him that you had to get a stable place to get the children in school?
Yes.
So they really weren't in school in January or February of 2022. Is that correct?
No, they were enrolled.
They were where?
They were enrolled.
Where?
I don't know the name of the school.
Did they attend that school at all in January?
I can't remember.
How many children did you have?
2.
Was Mercedes in school at all?
Yes.
Where?
I can't remember the name of the school.
Was she in a school or was she in a daycare?
School.
Was it a free school or was it a paid school?
Object to relevance.
That'll be overruled. You can answer the question.
It was a free school.
In order to get her into that school, do you remember what address you might have used?
1106 Caspian Point.
I'm sorry, 1106.
Caspian Point.
And where was that?
In 5 Marbach, Florida.
And who lived there?
My godfather, my godsister, my 2 little brothers, and my godsister's husband.
And you too, is that right?
And me and my kids, yes.
So they only went to that school when you were staying at that house, is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
On January 12th, 13th of 2022, do you recall telling Jose that you had Mercedes hold her arms in the air for 2 days in a row? When she got up the next morning, it started 2 full days. Do you remember telling him that?
No.
So if it's in an email, it must be a mistake.
I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing that.
You were saying that Jose beat your child to death about 3 weeks before her death. Do you remember that?
What I meant was his abuse caused her death, yes.
It couldn't have been the abuse that you caused on January 13th of 2022.
No,
What did you do to your child that day? Do you remember?
no.
If you have a text that says you did something, did you lie in texts?
Sometimes I would lie to Jose about what I was doing just to avoid an argument.
Pass the witness.
State.
I have 1 second here. Katrina, for what purpose would you lie to Jose about what you were doing with Mercedes?
Because he would get angry if I treated her a certain way, so I knew what he wanted to hear, so sometimes I would just tell him what he wanted to hear to avoid an argument or to get physical altercations or just to avoid an argument.
And what did he want to hear?
That I was punishing Mercedes in any type of way.
Okay. And you were living, you just testified you were living with your godfather. That's Homer, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But on January 21st of 2022, there was an altercation and you moved out, correct?
Yeah, around there, yes.
Okay. And prior to you leaving Homer's home, Mercedes the day before had gone with Jose.
Yes.
And there was testimony and defense asked you questions about that you had said that Jose had beat Mercedes 3 weeks prior to her death. Isn't it true that you're actually meaning he beat her for the 3 weeks, prior to her death?
Yes, that's exactly what I
Not
mean.
just 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Pass the witness.
3 weeks, the 3 weeks prior to her death. You testified on my direct examination that he hadn't seen the children for 2 days before her death. Was that a lie?
Can you ask again?
You testified on my direct examination that Jose had not seen the children for 2 days, 2 full days prior to her death.
Yes, that's true.
It is true. Definitely didn't see them. And at that point, say the 3rd day, where were you living?
I was staying with Jeanette.
Same with Jeanette. What kind of an altercation was it that you had at your godparents' home that you left?
We got into it because Jordan was playing with one of my little brothers, and I got upset for some reason, I don't remember, but I confronted my godfather, Homer, about it, and he kind of didn't want to like get after his son for, I think they were fighting over something, him, Jordan and my little brother, and I told my godfather, and he didn't really like, he kind of just pushed it to the side, he didn't address his son about it. So I got upset, and my godfather kind of pushed me, and so,
I'm sorry, physically pushed you?
yes.
Where were you when this happened?
I'm gonna check the relevance.
Sustained.
Were you in his house when this happened?
Yes.
What part of the house?
I'm gonna object to relevance.
Sustained.
You say he pushed you. He took his hand and threw it against your body, is that right?
I'm gonna object to relevance and ask and answer.
Sustained.
How did he push you?
Object to relevant.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that the fight was really about how badly you were treating Mercedes and they had gotten sick of it?
No.
Isn't it true that on the 21st, when this supposedly happened, that the CPS worker had been to your house there?
Object to leading.
That'll be overruled. You can answer the
No.
question.
What day was she there?
I don't remember, but it wasn't the day before we left.
But it was around then, wasn't it?
No, about like maybe 2 weeks before we left.
2 weeks before you left. What are we talking about in terms of time here? You left on the 21st?
No, I believe I left on the 22nd.
22nd. And if the witness testified that it was the 21st of the last appointment, that would be a mistake, is that right?
I'm not sure. I don't really remember, so I could be wrong.
In the course of this testimony, you've remembered some things very clearly and other things not at all.
I'm gonna object to argumentative.
Overruled.
Thank you. Why is that?
Because it's been 2 years.
3 years?
2.
2 years. And is there anything else more significant in your life than something like this that you would forget it?
There's just some things that I don't remember.
That you don't want to answer or that you don't remember?
That I don't remember.
Your Honor, I'd like to show the witness testimony of her daughter, Jordan. I need help with the state putting it on.
They're grabbing a distract.
All right. Ask your question as it relates to this exhibit. What question do you have of her?
I have to put it on, Your Honor. I wanted to see it and then I'll ask. the
All right,
question.
no, that's not how it works. But
Did you ever talk to your daughter, Jordan, the day after Mercedes' death was announced?
No,
I would like to get your opinion on what your daughter said about you.
Object.
Objection?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I thought she was done. I'm gonna object irrelevant.
that will be sustained.
If your daughter said that you were jamming food into Mercedes' mouth and Mercedes was spitting it out, would that be true?
no,
If Mercedes was spitting out globs of food, would that be true?
no.
Why were you feeding her anyway?
I wasn't feeding her, she fed herself, but I gave her food because it was time to eat.
What time was it?
Maybe about 1:30 to 30 o'clock in the afternoon.
Was she on a regular meal time?
Object to relevant.
That'll be overruled.
No,
What food do you recall giving her at 1:30, 2:30, whatever?
well, due to the swelling of her mouth and the missing teeth that she had, I gave her soup, I gave her bananas, I gave her yogurt, I gave her water.
You didn't shove it in her mouth.
No,
Jordan was lying.
I believe she's been coached.
Who would have coached her?
I'm not sure because I didn't have her right before, when I was in the hospital, she was not with me.
Where was she?
She was with Jose and Jeanette.
And who would have coached her about what she said?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
The witness testified that somebody coached her. What I'd like to ascertain is who would have coached her?
Right, the objection has been sustained to speculation.
So do you retract your statement that she was coached, since it's all speculation?
All right, the court makes its rulings. I have ruled that with regards to speculation, the objection is sustained. Ask your next question.
I asked her, Your Honor,
That will be
Would she
sustained.
retract-
Ask your next question.
would you retract your statement that she was coached?
Objection, argumentative, speculation, relevance.
Sustained.
I'd like to put that video on now, Your Honor, because of prior inconsistent statements and for impeachment.
It is not her statement. It's someone else's statement. That will be,
I'll object, Judge. That's not proper impeachment.
all right. You're not allowed to do that. It's not proper impeachment.
Was sustained?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
No further questions, Judge.
All right, is this witness excused?
Yes, Your Honor. From the state.
All right, the rule has been invoked. You're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, you may step down.
Testify. When will we find out?
All right. Defense, call your next witness.
Your Honor, I don't believe she came. It was the pediatrician, but as far as I know, she's not here. If you could just give us a moment. Are you going to testify?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna have you all step outside for 5 minutes. I'll remember my previous instructions.